Hey everyone, it's Tiffany again, and I have another prenatal mini movement practice for you. So for this practice, nothing needed except for a little bit of space and a little bit of time, say about 15-ish or so minutes. So let's get to moving. This practice is still accessible to really the full range of pregnancy. I might give a couple of offered modifications for those who might be further along in pregnancy. I am going to be 20 weeks on Saturday, so everybody feels different at different points. So just know that anytime I give a modification or an alternative, feel free to try it and see if it feels better. And if it does, go with it. Your body actually knows best. So that said, come into your space and just find a comfortable seated position. So cross-legged. If you want to take a blanket underneath your pelvis to lift it up a little bit higher, go for it. And then just let your hands rest on your knees. Good. From here, I want you to imagine a little string to the middle of your breastbone. Think about your tailbone. And as you inhale, lift your breastbone up, reach your tailbone back, gently look towards your breastbone. And as you exhale, draw your tailbone towards your belly button, gently look forward. Think about drawing your jawbone back. Yeah, and inhale. Good, we get into a little extension. Exhale, we get into a little flexion, but not trying to strain the neck. Inhale, breastbone lifts, tailbone back, the chin can soften towards the throat. Exhale, draw the jawbone back. Yeah, maybe even look up just a tad, but really just more about the jawbone. And bring it forward. So now we're going to add the baby bump. As you round into the back ribs, think about drawing your baby in, drawing your pelvic floor muscles in. As you inhale, release the baby forward a little bit. Let your pelvic floor muscles soften. And not so much you feel cranky in the back, but just enough so you feel the baby kind of pulling you forward. So you feel gravity. Exhale, pull it back. Inhale. Exhale. Can never do these enough. And exhale. Here's the sneaky truth about this too. Just playing with drawing your baby in, relaxing your baby forward as you do these. Really good transverse abdominal strengthening. And not so much that it's gonna entice tearing, but enough so it creates support. Really, it's the rectus muscle that causes the tearing if it is not lengthened out. But again, we need those extensions. Exhale. You might notice over time your range gets bigger. And back. And then come back to sit atop your sit bones. So it's cool just to check in on a pretty regular basis, especially as you get further along with pregnancy. Where are my sit bones? So for me, mine spread pretty early on, but they're still doing some work to widen. Just kind of rock side to side. It's just a little bit subtle. And notice as I'm rocking side to side, I'm shifting my rib cage. I've just got a little lateral shift. And we're just going to kind of build off of that. So then we're going to reach it to the right. And as you reach it to the right, you can think about reaching your left hip crease down. And then we reach it to the left. It actually feels like a nice little hip opener. And then we reach it to the right. And then we reach it to the left. I feel like I should have some sort of fun music going on with this. And over. You can do as many as you want. And now we're going to add a little rotation. So now I'm going to go ahead and reach my rib cage towards my right knees. So a little soft rotation and back. And reach my ribs to the left and back. You might feel some nice stretching in the lower back quadrants. On the opposite side and back. And we inhale to reach. Exhale, bring it back. Inhale to reach, exhale it back. Inhale to reach and bring it back. Good, now we're just gonna add a slightly bigger range. Take your right hand wide of your right hip, reach your left arm up. Now find your left sit bone, so wiggle it side to side, and if you need to move things out of the way, do it. Before we tip it over, ground your left sit bone down as you reach your left fingertips up. Think about making lots of lovely length in your side body without tipping over. Then on an exhale, tip the ribs to the right without letting the left sit bone lift. Slide your right hand down, ground your right palm. When it feels like your left sit bone's about to lift, push the right palm down to re-anchor the left sit bone, and now really breathe into your left rib cage to open up the left side body. Yeah, just take 2 more breaths here. Now if it feels like it's straining on your head, you can either lift your head up into your upper arm or just give it some nice gentle rotations. And then with an inhale, reach your top arm up and imagine you're holding onto a rope. Pull yourself back up to center. Left hand down, right arm up. Again, find your right sit bone. So again, little shimmies, little shakes. Good. Ground the right sit bone down as you reach long through the right side arm. And then we exhale to tip the ribs to the left. So think of the ribs as like a cylinder. Think of like a can of Coke tipping over. Tipping over, but the pelvis stays stable. Walk your left hand out. Again, when you feel like your right sit bone is about to lift off, anchor it by pushing your left palm down. And then reach. And you can play here. Does it feel better to have your palm facing down or facing forward? Do you feel things differently when you do that? So you can play with that, things to play with. And even as you hang out here and just focus on trying to breathe into your right lung lobes, top and bottom. Inhale, let the baby soften forward. Let your pelvic floor soften. Exhale, think of lifting the pelvic floor up to hug the baby gently in. And inhale, soften. You might see my belly kind of moving in and out. One more. And then we float it all the way back up. Good. So notice we've got the float up version or the pull up version. Which feels better? Play with both. We're going to go back to the other side. So right hand down, left arm up, lengthen up, tip over. Find that nice side bend we've already been to before. Now we're going to add a little more rotation. So grounding through the right palm. We're going to spiral the left armpit towards the right hip crease on an exhale. And even as you spiral in, find a reach through your left arm bones. Inhale, spiral it open. Exhale, spiral it in. Inhale, spiral it open. Exhale, spiral it in. One more. Inhale, spiral it open. Exhale, spiral it in. Bring it back to neutral. And now still supporting with the right arm, arm circles. Think about really rotating the upper arm bone in the shoulder. And we're just going to do 3 in each direction. I'm a really big fan of these this recently because I feel really good at my current state. And then reverse. Making sure you're continuously breathing, never holding the breath. Notice if there are clicky or sticky spots. And then reaching up to bring you back to center. Left arm down, right arm up, and we lengthen and then tip. Good. Again, keeping equal anchoring through both sit bones. And now we spiral in on an exhale. Spiral open on an inhale. Exhale, spiral it in. Inhale, spiral it up. Exhale, spiral it in. Inhale, spiral it open. Exhale, spiral it in. Last one, spiral it open. Oh, that's a nice pop. And spiral it in. And bring it back to center. And then we circle for 1. Nice big breaths. 2. 3. 4. Reverse. 4. I added an extra one on this side for some reason. I think I just needed it. 3. 2. And 1. And back. Good. Let's go ahead. Bring yourself so that your heels are in front of your knees. Slowly, you can take your hands to support you if you need it. Roll your way all the way down. Good. Once you're down, if lying flat on your back is uncomfortable, you can by all means, like you're feeling blood pressure changes, take a pillow or a blanket, fold it up, and just give you that tiny bit of elevation. Really, just a few inches can make a huge difference. So lying on my back still feels okay for me, so I'm going to stick with it. And then set your heels up so that your heels are about hip width distance apart. Heels don't need to be right underneath the knees for this. Just some nice, easy pelvic tilts. So as we inhale, we arch. Exhale. Inhale, arch. Now, I'm exaggerating it right now, but I'm going to get really small in a second. So my glutes are a little bit involved in my butt. But now I'm going to really take it internal and think about my pelvic floor. So as I inhale, my pelvic floor softens. My belly lifts. As I exhale, my pelvic floor pulls up and in. My baby draws down. My back flattens. Inhale, arch. Exhale. So both feel good. One's not better than the other. One's not right, one's not wrong. Just depends on what I need on the given day. But equally as important is, I talk a lot about pelvic floor in a lot of these, to strengthen your pelvic floor is to know how to relax your pelvic floor. We need that to be able to push babies out. And bring it in. Okay, now find that nice neutral space. So if you found that big arch and curl, what feels pretty level? And then here again, we're just going to go ahead, inhale, slowly open the right knee out to right as far as it can go without the pelvis tipping over. And then we exhale to bring it back. And then we inhale the left knee out to the left. Exhale, bring it back. So this is variation 1. Inhale the right knee out. Exhale the right knee back. Left knee out. And left knee back. Variation 2, bring your legs to tabletop. So if you can try this and if it feels like too much load, you can always go back to where we just were. So here, you can't see it, but my heels are together, my knees are apart. As I inhale, I open the right knee. Exhale, bring it back without letting the pelvis tip. Inhale, open the left. And back. So you guys can see a different angle. It looks like this. Open right with an inhale, open or close it back. Open left. It's like you're doing butterfly knees, but now you're working a little harder against gravity. And back. The goal is that you can do this and still breathe with ease, have a conversation with someone, but you're working some deep pelvic stabilizers. And back. And then 1 foot at a time so you don't strain the pelvis, land your feet and rest. And if it feels like you want to do some arches and some curls, go for it. Go for it. All right, from here, a little bit of baby bridging. So depending on kind of, again, how far along you are, your range may vary. And again, go with what feels good and where you can still breathe and you don't feel crazy shifts in your blood pressure. So nice open neck, relaxed shoulders, heavy back to the ribs. On an exhale, tip the pelvis back, reach the tailbone up, reach the knees away from your pelvis to lift your pelvis up. Again, it doesn't need to be as high as you normally do. You've got extra load in there, so don't push it. And then slowly, really think about trying to round into the low back. And then the pelvis lands and the tail unfurls. So temporarily, we have a really tiny tail tuck. It's temporary, but it feels really good because a lot of us get pulled forward with our baby bumps, and so we feel a lot of load in extension in our low back, so we just want to get a little flexion to help create a little space. So again, take a breath in, exhale, tip the sit bones up, push the knees away, round your pelvis up. I'm really just looking for a pelvic lift. Doesn't need to be super high. And then reach the rib cage down, reach the spine back, roll the spine down, temporary tail tuck, release the tail long. Let's do 2 more. And curl. And as you lift, ground actively through the heels. So you're using the back of your legs and your glutes. Find that energetic reach through your thigh bones, through your kneecaps. And then roll it back down. Last one. And I sometimes like to add a little inhale, a little arch, so I get a little counter. Exhale, pull back, roll it up, reach your way. Take a breath and roll it down. And unwind. Good. Rolling onto your side, cradling your head in your upper inner arm. Stack your pelvic halves so that your knees line up. So you've got 90 degrees in the hips, 90 degrees in the knees. Good. Lift your top leg to knee height. Good. All we're going to do here is go ahead, tap the heel forward and bring it back. Tap the heel forward, bring it back. Tap the heel forward, so it's like right in front of the bottom knee. And going 5, I'm going 8 total. And 4. And 3, I'm feeling it right here. And 2. And 1. Good, bringing it back. Now from here, I'm just gonna tap my top knee to my bottom knee and lift it up. And tap 2. So I had external rotation a second ago, now I've got internal rotation. 3. And 4. And 5. Feels good on my SI joints. 6. And 7. And 8. Rest it down. So you can use your top leg to help you come up. Top arm pushes down. Come on up. Flip it to the other side. Stack the knees. Cradle the head. Good. Even here, so options here. If you want a little support, you can bring a blanket underneath. Or you can also just work some of those kind of deeper support network muscles by drawing your baby gently in. It's not like you're trying to squeeze the baby to death. It's not like a bear hug. It's just enough so you don't feel any pulling or straining in the low back. So it's work, but it's not kind of all in. It's just enough. Lift your top leg up, and then we heel tap. 8. And 7. And 6. And 5. This is a good little exercise to keep in your pocket for after birth. And pulling your pelvis back together. Good. 2. And 1. Now we stack the legs and we knee tap. Heel points up. So it's important that you really reach the heel up as the knee taps down. And 3. Again, it's not all in. It's how much is enough to feel just a little bit of work. Yep. And 4. Good. 3. And 2. And 1. Rest. Good. All right. Come on to all fours. Last little bit here to round out your movement practice. We're trying to get onto most sides. So laying on the belly may not be comfortable. I can still do it, but for most of us, laying the belly is probably not accessible at this point, so all fours becomes our friends. Part 1, just tuck your toes. Separate your knees enough to support your belly kind of coming between your knees, and you're just going to push back, get the stretch to the bottom of the feet. Feels pretty good. Use the strength of your toes to push you forward. Good. Maybe you lean forward just a little bit. Untuck the toes and reach it back. Push into the top of the feet, bring you forward. Tuck the toes, reach back. Once more, push forward. And bring it back. Good here, feels good to sway a little side to side. And then come up onto all fours. And then you're going to tuck your toes, walk yourself back, maybe sitting all the way on your heels. You might support yourself forward. So this may be option 1, stop, option 2, stop, or all the way up. Again, just another nice little toe stretch. Good. Bringing it forward again, untucking the toes, sitting back towards the heels so we get the top of the foot, the top of the calf stretch. And then you are done. So hopefully that just kind of works out a little bit of your kinks for the day. I know it changes on a daily basis, so see what feels good. I've got a bunch of other prenatal videos out there. You can either check them out on Instagram or check out my YouTube channel. to see all the offerings for prenatal, and there'll be more coming. So keep an eye out, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Bye.